That's good because some people are like, no, I don't like that. So now I'm going to share my screen and let's see. Yeah, here. Oh, here we are. Do you see it says new notary workshop?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome again. I'll welcome you like 17 more times because I want you to know that I know and I appreciate it is Saturday morning. Well, in this time zone, and I think everybody else is in East Coast. Maybe a few Texas folks might be on Central Time, but
Yes.
okay. So, yeah, there are other things you could be doing, but you've decided to take the time to invest in yourself and try to get what you need to know in order to get this business going. So I appreciate that. So, just a little bit about the agenda for today. We're going to do some introductions. So, if you're shy and you're like, oh, I don't like to talk to people, well, you're going to talk to six other people today because we're going to get to know each other just a little bit. We're going to talk about setting up your mobile notary business or your Ron business. We're going to talk about identifying the perfect market because sometimes people often ask me like, where do you get business from? That's the number one question. How do you let people know that you're available and how do you get calls? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about pricing because that seems to be something that causes some heartburn to a number of people. It's like, my state says I can only charge $5. How can you make a living doing that? Like, okay, we're going to talk about that. Okay. We'll talk some about remote online notary. Now, and I can talk about my experience. I've primarily done it through Notarize. I've done over 700 transactions with Notarize. And I'll talk a little bit about the process, but it differs from state to state. And that's something that we can, if we have time towards the end, real time coaching, I called it. We can, if you have questions, last time we're like, okay, let's get on the Google Schmoogle and let's look these things up and let's see what we can do to get started. And then I'll leave some time for questions and answers. In fact, I pulled some of the questions that you had from the pre workshop questionnaire that I thought were particularly good. I'm like, oh, this is some good questions that I want to make sure that we cover if it's not covered in the content itself. Sounds good, everybody?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Again, I mentioned this before. This class will be recorded. And and just a little bit about me. Who is this lady? What does she know about being a notary? Well, I will let you know that I am Sia Knight. That's my name. I've been in education. Now I've been in education for about 25 years. I know it's hard to believe because, I look about 30. I get it. But no, actually, education will put the age on you right there. But I've been in education for about 25 years, and after about 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, hey, I did like a lot of you do. I've been looking at a lot of the side gigs, a lot of the side hustles, because I'm always a person who I've kept 2 and 3 jobs. When I was a teacher, I've been a teacher, I've been an assistant principal, I've always kept about 2, 3 jobs. And so at one point I was doing the delivering, like the DoorDash and the um Uber Eats and all of that. So I'm like, okay, it got me out the house a little bit. And then I listened to the podcast or I saw a video about loan signing. I'm like, oh, loan signing agent. Okay. So I researched that a little bit. And a lot of us, you could talk about that when you do your introduction. A lot of us get seduced into this work because we see loan signing agents. You can make 6 figures, which, by the way, side note, you can. That's not a lie. Um, but I said, okay, I'm gonna look into that. And so, in order to do that, I had to get my notary commission. So I did that. Did loan signings for a little while. And I was like, it was not my favorite thing to do. But I decided and I shifted a little bit and I said, hey, what about this general notary work? And we'll talk about exactly what that means a little bit later on. But since then, since I've kind of shifted away from doing loan signings, one thing that I've been doing is I've been doing general notary work, and and it's fair to say that I hundreds of dollars of additional income each month because I still have a full-time job. I've got a full-time job. I am working still in the school system, and I enjoy making some money in the evenings and in the at night and in the evenings on the weekends. All right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the tables a little bit, and I'm going to ask you all to introduce yourselves. And these are the questions that I want to kind of get some answers to. Kind of your name, of course, your name, your state, and what interests you about notarizing, and kind of more in like, why this class? Because there's lots of classes out there, but kind of what drew you to this particular class? And I just, if you would give just a little bit of information on that, that would be wonderful. And what I'll do is, since people appear differently in different um, configurations, I will go by who's on the top of my screen. So I will start off with Tarima. Yay, that's you.
Yes. Thank you for saying my name right the very first time.
Oh, yeah. I'm a teacher, so I got I had a lot of practice. And
You know what? And teachers, it's normally teachers and educators that do that, and they tell me every time I give that compliment, it's normally a teacher that did it. So anyway, my name is Tarima Clark. I'm here in Virginia. I'm in Virginia Beach. And what interested me about notarizing in this particular, your channel and your training here, is because I'm interested in the same things you are. I think you remember my comment when I said, move over, let me get in your lane too.
Oh,
That was
yes,
me.
I remember that. I'm like, come
That
on
was me.
over.
And you were like, yeah, I'll make room. But yeah, I got my commission in August. And it's been slow and steady for me because I'm in school right now. And so I'm balancing school, starting up a business, all this stuff. So every day I try to do one thing toward the business
Okay.
and toward training myself for the business, because we have to train ourselves for this industry. So that's why we need you. Because this training myself stuff it's not my thing. I want to learn from people who know what they're doing. So,
Okay.
and you look like you know what you're doing, and you're doing what I want to do.
Okay.
So I'm interested in Ron and in mostly my local general notary work too. I want to do loan signings here and there, but mostly Ron, and to do some loan signings through Notarize, just like you. I just kind of want to do the same thing that you're doing. So
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you,
you.
Tarima.
Thank
All
you.
right. I'm going to go next to Miss Yolanda.
Hi, my name's Yolanda Poleski, and I live in Grand Prairie, Texas.
Yes.
And the reason I started this thing, because, well, my story is a little different. I got into the notary thing. I wanted to do it back when my daughter was a baby,
Mhm.
and she has Down syndrome, so I couldn't really get into it like I wanted to.
Right.
And then I had my father, before he passed of Alzheimer's, I had to get into the paperwork and stuff to have him with the what is it, a power of attorney and stuff. I
Right.
sat down there and I wrote everything up,
Mhm.
had it notarized. And then recently, when he passed last year, I said, you know what? I'm sitting here and I'm already retired. So
Mhm.
I'm just looking for something to do, part-time,
Mhm.
because I can't work full time because I got my baby here. And well, she's not a baby anymore, she's 30 years old, but she's still my baby.
Yes, right.
and
She's your baby.
and so since the virus hit, I'm like, I don't want to be going out in people's homes. So I said, can you do this online? And that's when I started doing my research and everything. And I found the Ron And I said, okay, let me look into this a little bit more. And the more I kept looking into it, I said, this is what I said I wanted to do years ago, and I never got around to it. So now today, I said, well, now I got the free time to do it.
Mhm.
Let me get my old butt off my behind and get something and get something for myself, because I've been taking care of everybody else.
Right.
So I said, let me do this for me. I'm not really interested in turning this to something full time, because I'm not gonna mess up my Social Security. I work too hard for that Social Security. So
Okay. I hear you.
I said, so I'm going to want something part time to bring, some extra income for myself. I saw you happen to run across you online
Oh.
on YouTube, and when I was researching about the notary and everything, and you sound like you made sense into what you knew what you were doing. So that's how I clicked on. I thought, oh, I got to subscribe to her because she knows
Oh,
what she's doing.
well, thank you.
So, and that's how I wind up in this class.
Well, wonderful. Well, welcome, Miss
Thank
Yolanda.
you.
All right. The next person I see going down the list is Miss Angela.
Hey, hi everyone.
Hi.
My name is
Uh, uh-oh, Miss Angela, you're breaking up.
Angela. Yeah, I know. I froze
Oh,
there. I don't know
oh,
what
okay.
happened. Yeah, so I am actually in Woodbridge, Virginia, which is right outside of Washington, D.C. And I guess Sia and I are neighbors.
Right. Hey.
Hey. So let's see, I guess in terms of me and my notary work, well, I got into it. I had thought about notary public business like a long time ago. And I found out that, when I saw, oh, you can only make $5, I was like, okay, that's not gonna be really lucrative.
Mhm.
And so a friend of mine, and see, I don't know if you've ever heard of Girani Coffee House, which is in Manassas.
Mm-mm,
Um,
I haven't.
yeah, it's a great spot. But anyway, so I also do, I'm an actor, and I'm also a comedian, and I also produce my own comedy shows. And so the venue that I used to have my comedy shows, there's a lady there who makes these cheesecakes,
Mm.
and they go like hotcakes at Girani Coffee House. So anyway, so we got to talking because we talk all the time, and she was saying how her and her husband were going to look into doing loan signing because you could really make, some really good money doing loan signing.
Mhm.
And she's like, that's something that I'm going to look into to do in between, selling cheesecakes. And she's like, that might work for you because, you got your career going on and in between, because of course, it's not stable, especially during this pandemic. It's
Right.
now starting to pick up a little bit, but nothing like it was pre-pandemic. So I was like, a notary? And she's like, yeah. So I just, so we talked about it, and she was telling me who she was gonna what package she was gonna buy, who she's gonna start, viewing to get knowledge of it.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I'll look into it. And I started looking into it and started looking into it. And I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting to me because it's like it was pulling me, and I was like, well, this might be something good to do
Mhm.
because I can set my own schedule and everything. I've been unemployed since April of last year, on and off, on and off.
Right.
And I just was like, I'm so tired of dealing with this unemployment system. I'm tired of being broke. And I was like, I think I want to do this and try to make it happen. So we'll see what happens. And yesterday I got my commission.
Yay!
Yay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm ready to roll. And my biggest problem, Sia, has been that I want to learn, and like I think Tarima said, I want to become educated in it. But it's just that a lot of the programs out there, they're great programs, but a lot of them do like the webinar type of thing where you buy the package and then you learn on your own. That does not work for me. I did that with 2 programs.
Mhm.
One was last year in April, and one was in December 2019. I still haven't finished going through this. Like I need that discipline and that structure. So that is why I am here. And I saw you were in Virginia. So that really lighted my fire to really want to, look into it. And I really enjoyed watching your YouTube videos. So yeah.
Well, thank you. And she sent me a message. She said, "Look, I'm trying to reach out to you. I don't see any information on how to email." I was like, "Oh, here you go." Here's the information. I was like, "Who is that?" "Oh, okay, Angela. Well, here's my information." So I said, "Okay." Well, and I'm glad you did. So I'm glad to see you here. So
Yeah.
all right. The next person I see is Tamisha. Now, Tamisha's not on camera, so I don't know if you're available to. Oh, okay. Well, Tamisha is here, but you're muted, dear. But she's got the setup going too.
Okay, I think I'm here.
Yes,
Am I
you are.
here?
You
Can
are
you see
here
me?
and clear. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm Tamisha Calhoun. I'm originally from New York. I currently live in Fort Myers, Florida. And I was a notary for work purposes for many, many, many years. And I just did those 3 or 4 forms that were needed for the job, and I never did notary outside of it. So when I moved to Florida, I transferred my license and everything, and then I didn't put it up in the closet and didn't do anything with it. And then I retired, and I decided to let me do something with this notary stamp, and looked into the loan signing, did everything for that, went to my first appointment, and I was like, yeah, no, this is not really for me. And especially just in Florida, people don't take COVID seriously at all. People don't like to wear masks. Everywhere you go, it's like you're in a different world. COVID doesn't exist. Everybody's out with no mask. They don't do anything prepare. When you ask them to wear a mask, they look at you like you're crazy. So I was just like, okay, it's not worth risking my life. Let me figure out how to do the online. So I did everything to become an online notary. I even signed up with Notarized. I did my first notarization. And then I was like, okay, Tamisha, but you don't really know these documents. Like, you've never seen them. You don't know what you're notarizing. Like, so I was like, let me try to take the workshop to see if I can learn some general notary things, so that when I go onto the platform, I'm more informed about these different documents and what to look for and what to do. Because although I've been a notary for so many years, I knew the forms that I was doing and they were like the back of my hand. I didn't have to do anything different. So now I'm going to be seeing hundreds of different types of forms that I've never seen before. And I really feel like I need some more training before I mess up these people's documents. Like, it makes me nervous. So I'm here to learn as much as I can, so that when I'm on there, I can feel confident about what I'm doing.
All right, perfect. And that headset, oh my goodness, that is clear as a bell. I might have to
Oh,
switch over to that.
I
So,
was
thank
about
you.
to say the same thing. I was
oh,
about to put a message in chat to ask her about that
Yeah, what's
headset.
that
I'll
But that's
find
headset?
the I'll
clear.
find the Amazon link and I'll try to put it in the chat.
Thank you.
all
You're
right.
very welcome.
That's what I like. We help each other. That's what I love. All right. Thank you so much, Tamisha. Ime,
Hi, good morning.
good morning.
Well, I live in Florida, and I see I have a neighbor too. I live in Port Charlotte. It's about 45 minutes from Fort Myers.
Oh,
Yeah. So anyhow, I started my notary journey about 4 months ago, and I came on here because yes, I did buy one of those loan signing packages and working through it. I actually, believe it or not, I enjoy meeting people. So, but I really wanted to build the aspect of the general notary work, because I work full time. And a lot of times with the signing services is very hard due to the nature of my job, being able to get signing work as much as I would like to. So I want to be able to build my general notary work on the side, so that I could incorporate that more into the times that I am available. That's why I watched some of your videos, and it struck a nerve that I wanted to learn from you. So
oh, okay. Thank you so much, Ime. Welcome. All right. Next, we have Larry, who is putting up his sunroof. Evidently, he is driving and getting ready to tell us about himself. Oh, I have you muted. Hold on. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Larry.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing. I'm parked. I just parked.
Okay. No judgment here. Go ahead.
I was trying to find a comfortable situation where I could really pay attention and learn. So I'm down here in Hampton, Virginia. I'm at Buckrow Beach on a nice, spring morning. And I want to get right into it. I guess the things that drew me into this workshop was the ability, your influence on showing me the opportunities that existed and the flexibility of being able to network. I think I've come to grips with myself that I like to network with people. I like sharing things that I do that can be of service to others with other people. And I think this is an opportunity to, really build some extra income in a much relaxed environment. I currently work full time. Similar. I do always keep at least 2 or 3 things going on. I work full time in recreation in the department of the city of Hampton. I work part time in mental health as a QMHP, and those things are time demanding. So I was looking for an opportunity to start a venture that I can kind of set my own schedule, that offered flexibility, that won't really pull me a whole lot away from my job for long periods of time. And also today is our first day. I have a youth football organization. Today is our first day of spring football. So I have teams, I have 3 age groups that are actually competing now. So due to the workshop, I am investing into myself. Like you said, I'm not in attendance for those games. I'm wishing them well and I'm wishing them safety. But I'm very excited about this opportunity and I'm looking forward to learning. I don't know anything about the notary business. The young lady who just spoke before me really brought up some good questions. I said, okay, I need to understand these documents. It's not just about where to sign. All right, that's
Right.
good. That's good. So
Right.
I'm here to learn and I'm here to grow.
And how did you find out about this? What drew you to this workshop and to me in particular?
Well, we're cousins. So you
So you can go ahead and disclose that. Full disclosure, everybody. He's my cousin.
yeah. So you was sharing the many things that you have done, and this one right here you seem to be very excited about the success you were seeing, and the success you were seeing was very transmissible to what I was trying to also experience. Where okay, you can do it at your own terms. Something that can be quick, or depending on how engaged you're going to be with it. You can really profit off it, and you don't really have to trade your time for dollars, which a lot of things that we do on part-time and full-time basis is about. So
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Larry. All right. And the last but not least I have here is Edward. Edward, are you with us? Or Edward? Yes, I guess Edward. I think we had someone signed up named Edward. Yes. So, yes, not a troll or Paul. Paul was the name that I had that came through registration. But, okay. So, I'm going to, well, I will check in on you a little bit later on to make sure we don't have a troll or a mole amongst us. So, the person whose name says Edward, I will say going once, going twice. Oh, okay. Hold on. Person is muting and now unmuting. Hi, who's here? Okay. So I'll give maybe 2 more slides. And if we don't know who this person is, we are not going to continue. So hopefully the person will speak up. And if it is someone who's legit, they'll get the replay. In fact, all of you all will get the replay for this particular training. So that's another thing that I'm happy to let you know. Okay, so let's continue. Let's go on. Thank you so much for indulging me with that. All right, quiz time. And anyone can speak up. What is the main job of a notary? You can unmute yourself and tell me what is the main job of a notary. So, I'm generally
To
speaking.
identify someone.
To identify someone. So that, okay, generally speaking, that is correct. Anyone else want to get a little bit more specific or?
I'd say it's to prevent fraud.
Oh, Tarima, here is the ding, 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 ding. That is correct. That is really, you're absolutely correct in terms of to identify someone. But why are we trying to identify someone? To make sure that they are who they say they are, and also that they intend to sign what we are presenting in front of them. So when you have the situations where grandma is in the bed and we have a lot of family members here like, oh, okay, here, can you get grandma to sign this will? I'm going to talk a lot with grandma, not talk a lot, but I will have a conversation with grandma to make sure she's lucid, hey, how are you doing today? Fine. The last time I did a document like that, the woman said, "Oh, how were the roads out there?" And it had been snowing, so I'm like, "Okay, good." I felt good and confident that she was lucid enough to be able to sign what she thought she was signing. So we want to do that. It's to aid in fraud detection, and that's why actually being a notary is it's kind of serious business. It's not just kind of applying your stamp and just signing and doing whatever. And that's why we had to take an oath and all of that, because they want to make sure that we're people of good character and that we're not shady McGrady's who are willing to have any and everyone sign in a illegal fashion. So that's the first thing I wanted to put on the table, because we get involved in the actual technical pieces and sign here and sign, but overall, what's our job? And without notaries, you could just have a robot or a computer system that would allow you to sign, but it goes a step further. That's our job, that's our call. And that's why we have to protect our commission and make sure that we are kind of taking it very seriously. Okay, there are the three types of notarial acts that we're going to talk about. Who wants to tell me, and some of you have talked about them already, three types of notarial acts. Someone tell me one type of notarial act.
Jurat.
Oh, come on now. There you go.
Acknowledgement.
Okay. And then what
Oath.
else? Okay. Those are the ones that we're going to talk about. Absolutely. Correct, Amundo. Okay. Let's talk about an acknowledgement. And as I said, you all will get a copy of this video. So, if you'd like to take notes, that's fine. And that's great. If you're like, oh, I didn't get everything, don't worry. You'll get a link and then you'll be able to play it at your leisure. So an acknowledgement, the purpose of an acknowledgement is to ensure that the signer is who they say they are, and that the intent is that they want to sign the form. Okay. So that's what, and often the language would be acknowledged before me, this date, et cetera, et cetera. So when you see a form and it says acknowledged before me, it's an acknowledgement. Okay. And we'll take a look at some of those forms in a few seconds as well. Okay. And so the next thing someone mentioned, I think Angela mentioned a jurat, also sometimes known as an affidavit. The purpose of a jurat is for the signer to swear or affirm that the contents of the document are true. Now, those of you who are interested in remote online notarization, anytime I see something that says, subscribed and sworn before me by so and so, here's what I will tell them. I will need to perform an oath. Please answer with I swear or I affirm. And you can put this next part or not, but swearing is to God, affirmation is on your honor. Please raise your right hand so I can see it in the camera. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the statements made in this document are true to the best of your knowledge and belief? Do you swear or affirm? So and what I'm reading from, This is a script from Notarize. Those of you, someone said that they're already on Notarize. They have little scripts for you. What I did was I said, I'm gonna go ahead and laminate this bad boy, because what happens is, and I have several laminated scripts and things in case someone comes on the line, and there's something that says, um, it says subscribe and sworn before me. I'm like, oh, oh, that's an oath. Okay. I'll need to perform an oath. So that's what I do in order to keep myself organized. So that's what a jurat is. And then an oath, like a real oath, it says the purpose of administering a verbal oath or affirmation is, again, to compel a client to truthfulness, right? So sometimes I had one job where I had to go to someone's house, or someone called me and said, hey, I'm testifying in court on the telephone, and I need a notary to swear me in by phone. So I was there in the home of the person, and the judge said, hey, are you a notary? Yes, I am. I'm a commissioned notary. Okay, well, can you please swear in the witness? Right? Do you solemnly swear? So I had to go to her home to do that. And then I was out. Deuces, peace. That sort of thing. So that's that's a real oath. And when we got our notary commissions, that's an example of a real oath. Any questions about that, folks?
How did you charge for that?
Oh, I charge the same price I charge for anything, which is, and we'll get to pricing a little bit later. Here's the deal, and this sounds terrible, okay, but I don't raise my garage door for less than $40. Northern Virginia, to get into traffic, who knows what will be going on in this way and that way. That's the way I do it. So $5 is what we're allowed to charge in Virginia. Okay. And then the $35 is travel fee, convenience fee, whatever we want to call it. I usually call it a travel fee, in order to get to where I'm going. Now, did I have to actually levy a stamp? I did not, but I did have to perform a notarial act, which is swearing the person in.
Yes, that's why I was curious as to how you charge for it, because there's no stamp involved.
No stamp involved. But so, and we'll talk about this a little bit more when we talk about pricing. I just want you all to know and understand how valuable your service is. Okay. Because some people will say, well, why can't some people just go to the bank? And that is so true, because in some instances, the bank will notarize documents for free. But in some instances, you might have to wait in line for a long time. You might go there and the notary may not be on call, may not be there. I've gone to a bank before I was a notary, even, and the notary wasn't there. Right. They don't notarize certain types of documents sometimes.
Mhm.
Right. So you're providing, this is a service of convenience. And so when I quote my price on the phone and somebody's like $40, I'm like, okay, well, good luck to you. Hope you have a great day. Because I have enough people who are like, only 40. I've had people who are just like, here, the charge was $70. They're like, here, just gave me $100 bill. We really appreciate you coming out. Okay. So we'll talk about pricing a little bit later, but it's one thing that as a newer notary, I want you all to know and think about how valuable that service is, and think about when it's time to market, who really needs your service. If it's somebody who's willing to go to the bank or able to go to the bank, then that's not your customer. If it's an elderly person, if it's somebody whose leg is broken in 3 places and they can't get out the house, if it's somebody who's deathly afraid of COVID and they're willing to take a chance with one person, if we're all masked and socially distanced, but they're not going out in public, then that's a different thing. So sorry, I rambled a little bit, but that's we'll talk more about that when it comes to price, because I think that's one of the main blocks that some of us have when it comes to owning our own business and being notaries.
Tamisha had a question in chat that
Oh, I'm sorry.
that I had the same question too. So if you read
Yes.
that.
Okay. The question is, um, oh, can I purchase a set of laminated pages? You mean from me?
Yes.
About it. My question was,
Oh,
where can I get them? Wherever. Mhm.
oh,
No, she
so
made them
I
because I have
did.
the script too, but I don't have a laminator.
Oh, so I have a laminator.
Yes,
So
I would
here's,
like to purchase a set of laminated because
oh,
that's really good to help with the session.
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, hey, I'm willing to serve if I can. But if you're interested in buying a laminator, they're not very expensive. But if you think this is the only thing I'm going to laminate in my life, and
Yes,
okay,
pretty
so
much.
well,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that, Tamisha. All right,
Okay,
and
thank you.
all right,
And Tarima.
okay. Well, hey,
And Yolanda.
I am here to serve the people. I cannot leave you up. But absolutely, no problem. Okay, thank you. So next, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Now I have Paul Edward. Okay, Barnes. So Paul is legit. His audio is not working correctly, so I don't have to kick him out of the session. So I'm sorry about that, Paul, because you had about one more slide and then you were out. But you are you're good. So we're gonna keep you here. So welcome. All right. Next, here is a sample. Oh, okay. Someone else. So I've got two screens, y'all. And that's another thing. Hey, that if you start doing Ron work at some point, and I find it terribly, terribly helpful. And I also use two screens because for my real job when we were working from home, I just that having the two screens is awesome. For me, and again, this is a side note, if you're interested in Ron work, with Notarize, it can be tough to catch those calls. That's a question that people ask me because the computer will ring, 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 and you click on it, and there's like, oops, someone else has gotten it. And you're like, God, curses. So what I will often do is I'm sitting here, I'm doing something else on the other line. I am and maybe watching YouTube. Who knows what I'm doing? I'm doing emails or whatever, and it'll ring, ring, ring. I'll click there, and if I catch it, I'll just put it here, and I'll focus on the notarization. So that's me, and that's me with my multitasking self. But that's 2.1. So don't if don't feel bad if you're like, I'm not going to be doing that. So, but people often ask me like, are you just sitting there? I'm like, I'm sitting here, but I'm doing lots of different things. So let's take a look at this acknowledgement form. Here's a sample from Virginia. And each state's form is slightly different. And, just to confuse us just a little bit, that's what it seems to be. So those of us who are in Virginia, so that's Larry, it's Paul's, Angela, Tarima. This is the language that should be on each notarial act. So Commonwealth of, and so I'm going to ask you all who are in Virginia kind of to help me fill this out. Okay. So Commonwealth of Virginia, county of, if you were filling this out, Angela, what
Yeah,
what county are you going to put?
Prince William County.
Prince
Prince
William.
William.
Absolutely. So it's the county that you are in. And unless we're talking about, I'm going to someone's home or business to notarize a document. Okay. So if I do that and they're in Woodbridge, that is the county of Prince William. However, if I am with Tarima, let me see. No, Tarima is, yes. Where are you, Tarima?
I'm in the city of Virginia Beach.
Right. And so I would scratch out county. I would put city of Virginia Beach if you are notarizing in Virginia Beach. Okay. So it's wherever you are notarizing that form.
Okay.
That's where you put it. And it's interesting because the Hampton Roads area, I'm from there. I happen to know not a lot of counties, just mainly cities, the 7 cities, right? So I do a lot of work in Fairfax County, which is the neighboring county. So if I'm in Fairfax, County of Fairfax, that's what I put. Okay. All right, now the foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me this blank day of blank. All right, Miss Yolanda, what goes here?
But what is it? The date, today's date, or I'm trying to think, because it's Texas. Mine's in Texas is a little different
Oh,
from the
right, right.
the acknowledgments that that we have down here in Texas. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the whatever month that is, and the date and the year,
Okay, so it
and
would
a
be
person's name.
right. So this would be this 27th day of March
March
2021
21.
by, and who is this? This
That's
is,
the person who's is it the person that actually that you're doing an acknowledgement for?
yeah,
Would
this
that
is
go
the
there?
signer. Right. This is the signer. This is the name of the person
Mhm.
acknowledged. Okay. So, and let's see. I have somebody who said they're trying to get in, and I was looking for one more person. Confirmation is confirmed. Is there a passcode? Okay. One moment. No, this is when I need an assistant. No, come on in. Okay. So, all right. So this is okay. Now, what goes here?
Now that
So
I'm
this
not.
thing-
This here. No, someone said something?
I said your signature. I was like, oh, she
Oh
didn't
yeah.
follow me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I you can yell out at this point. Yeah. So signature of notarial officer. Guess what? That's you. Or in this case, it'd be me, the notarial officer. Sometimes you'll see notarial officer. Sometimes you'll see
Okay.
notary. Sometimes you'll see notary public. But that the signature, that's you.
Right
You're gonna
here.
sign.
Okay.
Okay. Notary registration number. What is
Number.
that?
That's your commission number, is wouldn't it?
That is your commission number. And at one point you will memorize it, and then you'll be able to say 773842. So because I've done it so many times, you memorize it. Okay. And then my commission expires. So does anybody happen to know? I'm going to ask you, let's see, Tarima, are you the person who showed us your new certificate?
No,
Oh, who was that? That was
That was Angela. It
Oh,
was-
Angela, yes.
Yes.
So, Angela, so when does your commission expire?
December the 31st, 2025.
Okay, yes. So, and I wondered if everyone was December 31st, because mine is December 31st, and this one expires 2022. So I'm keeping my eyes on it. So it's usually like a 4-year commission. Yes.
I don't know where I saw it or heard it, but what I understand is that it depends on when your birthday month is in terms of the expiration date. Because I would have thought it would have been March of 2025, but it has something to do with when your birthday falls in terms of your expiration.
Does it? Is your birthday in December?
It is.
Oh, mine is too. So maybe that's it.
No,
Yeah,
mine
because mine
expires December
expires-
11th and my birthday's in September.
Oh, so wait a minute. She's blowing our theory.
Yeah, no.
Is she in Virginia?
No,
she in
Florida.
She's in Florida.
But
Okay.
even in
I'm
New
in Virginia.
York,
It could be a
even in New
Virginia
York,
thing.
it expired in December and my birthday's in September.
Okay.
I think
So
it was
maybe
from when I
it's-
first
maybe it's-
got it.
Maybe it's Virginia then.
It might be a Virginia thing because
Maybe.
mine expires September 30th of 2024 and my birthday is in September.
Ah, so it's a
Oh.
Virginia thing.
Okay.
Yeah, must be it. Okay. I just couldn't remember where, or I've been watching and reading so much. So yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of information to take in, isn't it? Right. So that's one kind of a bad thing. It's a good thing and a bad thing because you can get all pieces of information all over the place. So that's one
see,
reason. Go ahead.
Can I say something?
Yes.
My commission, I got my commission in February. Mine doesn't expire until, it doesn't go by my birthday down here in Texas.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at my commission and it says my term is up February the 5th, 2025.
Okay.
And I signed up for mine in February the 5th, 2021, which was last month.
Okay.
So that's one. So it's a little different than it is up there in Virginia.
A-
You know.
And what you'll see, and that's the whole, this is a good demonstration of notary and notary law and how things vary from state to state.
Hmm.
So, okay, very good. And then, so, oops, oh, Lord, hold on now. And so, what else do I need to put there? So, after I've done all of this, what's next? That's give it to the person. Say, here you go, you're done. Wait a minute.
No,
What do I
that
do?
seal. That seal goes under
Boom.
that
Yes.
stamp.
You stamp it. Yes, absolutely. And how many of you all don't have a stamp yet? You don't have it yet? Okay. All right. Amazon is what I recommend. Go to Amazon, and it's not terribly expensive. Now, what's interesting is that make sure you are getting the stamp for your state. Okay. This is one, it's called Excel Mart. Okay. And hold on, someone's sending me a chat. No stamp yet. Okay, cool. Um, I have this one still in the box, and let me show you why. Okay, can you all see? Oh, wow, Lord. Okay, can you see this?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. What does it say? It says Sir Butler Knight. So they misspelled my name on the stamp.
Oh my goodness.
So check your stamp when it comes in to make sure it's okay. So they sent me another one for free, but I'm glad I looked at it because otherwise I'd have been out here bad, just stamping stuff with something crazy on it. But that absolutely, that's the last thing that goes, which is your seal. Okay. All right. Any questions? Oh, go ahead.
I have my stamp, and mine says my name, and it says the Notary Public of the State of Texas,
Right.
and it has the date that when my commission expires and my ID number.
Absolutely.
So,
Looks
and
like
I just got this last month. So
okay.
I was surprised that it came as fast as it did. To tell you the truth.
It usually doesn't take very long. I ordered it from Amazon. It did not take probably a week or so. We're used to getting things fast nowadays. If something didn't come in a few days, we're mad. We're like, what? All right.
I have a question, Sia.
Yes, ma'am.
I heard that from what I'm so upset because when I filled out my application, I included my middle name, and I normally like to use just my middle initial, and they were like, no, you have to sign all three names and period.
Mhm.
And I was like, unless your signature is ineligible, I guess.
See, you see how it says sir, but my stamp is Sia Butler Knight, which Butler is now my middle name. And I'm mad about that too. Cause I next time when I re-up, I'm just gonna put my first and last name. Because I asked someone, I was like, can you do that? And they were like, yeah, you can do that. I was like, oh. So it just takes a little bit more time when you when you sign. But I hear you. I did the same thing. I was like, oh, I want it official. I want it right. And
Right. So
yeah.
I guess unless you write your name ineligible, then that's fine. But if it's legible, I believe you need to make sure that they can see all three names.
You have to put all three names now. Yeah. I made the same mistake. So all
So
right
just for
now.
clarification, real quick,
Yes, sir.
your stamp needs to match what's on the commission. So your
Correct.
middle
Yeah.
initial, like for me, I got a suffix at the end of my name, so that needs to be on the stamp also.
Yes. You have what on you said the second, right?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now let's look at a sample jurat. Okay. And so remember, a jurat is like a sworn statement. Okay. This again is for Virginia, and I'll give you all some time if you want to take a little time to look up your individual states as well. So again, Commonwealth of Virginia, County of wherever you are notarizing that thing. So I know that Edward is in Alexandria. So well, if he's in Fairfax County, part of Alexandria, he would say County of Fairfax if that is where he's doing the notarization. Okay. So the foregoing instrument was subscribed and sworn before me this again, 27th day of March 2021. And who's the affiant? Who's the affiant?
Is that the notary?
No, I think is that the person that,
Y'all tell me.
It's the person that you're signing for.
or
So it's the signer. And sometimes it is not very clear. And I'm gonna tell you my secret. So if I'm not sure, I'm like, I don't know whose name goes there. I look down below. If there's another place that I'm supposed to sign, I figure, oh, well, this must not be me. If it says name of app, so this is the signature of person taking the acknowledgement, that's you. Okay, so you're the notary. So you have to sign Cia Butler Knight. Title or rank, again, sometimes you can put notary, you can put notary public. Okay. And serial number, if there is a serial number. In some states, they have a serial number. In Virginia, since this is a Virginia jurat, I don't know why they put that, because we don't have a serial number. We have a notary registration number. Okay.
Oh, so we shouldn't fill out the serial number, because see, I would put my commission number there thinking, oh, okay, that's what they mean.
Right. But no, I would say I would put NA and then put, because it's here, it specifies your registration number. And so you might say, well, where'd you get that form from? Online. I just Googled Virginia, and I've been doing it long enough. I know what the Virginia form looks like. And when I go out, I take a few forms with me, because if someone wants something notarized, it's a letter that says that they can get their car out of tow, like their sister can get their car that's been towed, right? I give permission for Susie Q to be able to get and then she wrote so big, there's really not room for this acknowledgement, and that'd be an acknowledgement. Okay. In order for it to be legal, you're really supposed to have all of this. Okay. You're supposed to have the state, the county, acknowledged before me, blah, blah. This is the notarial language for Virginia. Okay. So if there's not room and you don't want to write all of that, there are a couple of options. First of all, I have blank forms like this, and I just fill it out right there and attach it and give it to them. Okay. That's one option. The second option is, we're talking about Amazon. They have different stamps that have the notarial language for various states. So there's a stamp that says, boom, the foregoing instrument was acknowledged before me, and then you fill in the blanks. So that's a couple of things to kind of keep in mind, right? Any questions about that? Okay. All right. I read this before, but now I'm going to do it again. Who wants to take this oath? I see. Okay, look, Angela, you ain't had to turn your camera off. I guess that's a no for you, Angela. So Yolanda will take this oath. That's fine. That's fine. No problem. All right. So again, we're going to go in the Ron world. And also, if I see that there's the person has a document that says signed, sworn and subscribed and sworn before me, I'll say, oh, this requires an oath. And most people get a kick out of that. And they're like, what, really? I'm like, yes, child, this is real official. Okay. And I'll say, all right, I'll need to perform an oath. Please answer with I swear or I affirm. Swearing is to God. Affirmation is on your honor. Please raise your right hand so I can see it. Miss Yolanda? All right. All right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the statements made in this document are true to the best of your knowledge or belief? Do you swear or affirm?
I swear.
Okay, thank you. You may put your hand down. And so again, people will have their hand up all day long. If you were like, you may put your hand down. They're like, I'm like, that's it. Nothing else. We're good. So that's an interesting thing that it's fun to do. And I do kind of start off kind of because sometimes people get like, wait, what is all this? I don't know about all this. I'm like, yeah, this is this is official business. So here you go. And then that's when we do the oath. Any questions about this type of oath? And
Which
then
one did you, I'm sorry, which
Go ahead.
one did you say was the affidavit, the same as the affidavit?
The jurat.
The jurat, that's the same thing. When people say affidavit, that's what they're talking about.
Correct.
This is the first time I'm really getting that.
Oh, there you go. That was worth the cost of admission in and of itself.
Yes,
So
it was.
if you take a look at here on the form, so the person is called the affiant. So affidavit, affiant. So I'm sure it comes from the Latin meaning, I don't know, something law related. There you go. All right. Now it's your turn. I'm going to give you all just a few minutes. Those of you who are not in Virginia. So that's going to be Ime, Keisha. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so that's who's missing, Keisha. Okay. And Yolanda and Tamisha. If you all will go ahead and look up, put this in another tab, and see if you can find an acknowledgement for your state. And
I have one right here.
Okay.
I got a box of these things that I ordered from the National Notary Association because I had no idea what was what.
Okay.
And
Wow. Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can see it and stuff. Let me tear one off. It's a little different than what you guys have in Virginia. And it said I don't know if you can see it. This is the acknowledgement right here.
Okay. Yes.
And it says of the state of Texas and the county of, and before me, and then it has the name of the character notarizing officers.
So that would be you. Before me.
Right, before me, that would be me. And then it has the name of the signer, known to me or provide me of the oath, which is and then it has something down here about a credible witness. So that's what confuses me.
Right.
It's like, do you have to have the witness there with the signer?
So that's if the person does not have identification. And there is somebody can serve as a credible witness in some states.
Okay. And then it's down here at going towards the bottom. It says to be the person whose name is described to foregoing instrument acknowledgement to me that he or she executes the same for the purpose and consideration therein expressed and given under the hand and seal of the office. And it has the date and the month and the year and the notary signature. And then something down here is about optional. And I guess that, if you have some additional documents or something you need to attach to the acknowledgement. But underneath that, it has your signature, which I'm to sign, and then my seal, basically.
Okay.
That's it for now the jurat is a little different.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what this says here in Texas. It says this, let me turn this one off. I'm glad I ordered these things because I had no clue.
That's okay. That's okay. And while you get that together, let me just say that Yolanda, you said you ordered from the National Notary Association. Now the NNA, now they are the gold standard. They are the association for notaries and for so in the offshoot, which is the loan signing agents, and they've got some good trainings, they've got some good articles online, and I would refer people back to them in terms of because there's so much information coming from everywhere. The NNA, if you get some information from the NNA, it's legit. So
yeah, and that's where I got my I signed up with them. Basically, that's why I got my online training and stuff. It's from the NNA and everything. And I just ordered these. I happened to go on their website and I ordered the jurat and acknowledgement because I said, I don't want to be going out here just in case if I do decide to go out and do mobile, which
Right.
I don't know if I will. But I said, this is a good thing to practice on, to have an idea of what you're. So I went on ahead and they actually sent me I didn't know I ordered 2 boxes of this stuff.
Oh,
But
good
anyway.
gosh. That'll last you quite
Yeah,
some
it
time.
will. It will. So this is the jurat. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see.
And it says the state of, and then it has the county of, and then it's a little different. It says subscribed and sworn to or affirmed before me, and then it has the date, the month, and the year, and then it has the name of the signature, second name of a signature, if any, and the signature of the notary public, and any additional information or anything down here, and then you have the seal.
Right.
And if I said something about optional, if you performing something in Arizona, something like that, because I don't think it has anything to do with Texas, but you
Okay.
never know,
Right. Right. Okay.
So basically, that's it as far
Okay.
as jurat.
Perfect. Now, all right. Thank you. Now, did anybody else find something? Let's see. We also had Florida represented.
Yes, I have a Florida one.
All right. Tamisha, what's it look like?
State of Florida, county of, sworn to or affirmed and subscribed before me this day, month and year by the name of person making statement, signature of notary public, print type or stamp of notary public, and then check off personally known or produced identification, and then type of identification produced.
Right. Okay. Very good. Thank you. And so for those of you who are interested in doing the remote online notarization, the RON, you will see different forms coming from different states. So I think somebody asked, or I can't remember if it was in a comment or in the pre-workshop questionnaire, like, well, how do you know all the documents from all the states? I don't. But like I said, kind of my go-to is to kind of read it. I know what an affiant is. I know who the notarial officer is. I know what that is. If I'm not sure exactly who should be signing where, I look to see if it's down further, like whether or not if they're talking about me, then I assume then they also want to know the name in the previous box. So you kind of sometimes you have to figure it out a little bit. It's not like you have to know all of the forms for all of the states. Okay. And we talk about it, this is serious business, but we do also want to know if you're trying and you're putting a good faith effort and you're like, oh, I've never if I make a mistake, I will be jailed. You probably won't be jailed. I mean, we want you to not make a mistake, but if you do, we've seen that before. It looks like Miss Keisha, is that you? Uh-oh. Who is this on the line with me who just came in? Uh-oh. Well, they will let us know at maybe and if you cannot say anything, if your audio is not cooperating, can you put something in the chat? I assume that this is maybe Keisha. I hope so. All right. So let's go to
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you faintly. Thanks. I'm so glad you could join us. Are you?
Took a minute.
Oh, okay. No problem. Well, actually, we're about to take a break, but I'm glad you were here. So now you can hear the rest of this, and then we're going to go on to the next part. So Miss Angela had a question.
Yes, my question is like, I guess my fear, or I don't know, or anxiety is like, how would I know that, if I get a document like something for a car, somebody, like, how would I know which sheet to use, a jurat sheet or an acknowledgement sheet? I think that's part of my like insecurity in this too, because I was like, well, I wouldn't know what to use if the document doesn't actually say sworn or affidavit or whatever.
Right.
So here's what I do. is I typically, if I don't know which one, is usually an acknowledgement. Typically, if somebody wants a sworn statement, it is very clear that that's what they want.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So they, so essentially, they want to know, is that the person who says that, who they say they are, and they want Susie Q to pick up the car. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So, and it's, what's interesting, and if we're going to get real kind of meta about it, really, even saying you are who you say you are is kind of like a sworn statement in and of itself, right? Because, you're like, this is true, right? So I don't think it's something where it's like, oh, it was a jurat and it's supposed to be an acknowledgement. I don't worry too much about that, as long as the notary is carried out appropriately and correctly, whichever form you use. I think you'll be okay and you'll be covered. Um, so I know that is it. Don't lose a lot of sleep over that, though. Just have them sign something properly. Okay. All right. Any other questions? No other questions now? Okay. So let me just introduce the topic, and then we'll take a little break, and then we'll get back down to, and boy, this hour has gone. Good gosh, fast. All right. Two types of notary work. General notary work, which I'm a fan of. So we're talking about verifying identification for a variety of different transactions, okay? And being a loan signing agent. Again, this is where most of us got hypnotized into becoming a notary, because you can make six figures as a loan signing agent, which absolutely you can. Um, but there's a lot to it. You have to figure out if that's what you really want to do. So that's verifying identification and signatures for real estate transactions. Let's also talk about some adjacent work to being a notary, right? In some states, not Virginia. So if you're in Virginia, you can hang this up. But some states, you can becoming a wedding officiant just by becoming a notary. Virginia's a little bit more complicated, but some people do that. Like they fill up their Saturdays and Sundays. Well, now that COVID is over, they'll start doing that again, and now that work will start picking up. Process serving. So that's where you have to go and you tell someone that it's time for them to go to court. Now, this can be lucrative. From what I understand, some people make 60, 70, $80 per service. Um, doesn't appeal to me, because typically when you're telling somebody they're coming to, you got to go to court, it's usually not yay, thank you. It can be a very contentious type of situation, but it could be very pedestrian. Like, I used to be an assistant principal, and when kids used to act a fool in school or whatever, and we had to go to court, I got served quite often. Like, here's, but they did it with the sheriff's office. Like, hey, guess what? Hey, you going to court? So it wasn't like I was going to be like, what? No, and start wanting to hurt someone. So that it can be very pedestrian. So that's one thing. And then fingerprinting, that's another thing that I've kind of looked into a little bit. If you can imagine all the people who have to have background checks, in the area that I work in, the DMV area, with all the federal workers and some people. So there are some people who are making kind of an adjacent income from fingerprinting. Some you can do the electronic scanning, and then some people do the ink, and they charge $100 a pop and all of this. So that's something for you to research and think about if you are interested. And all of these are kind of adjacent to being a notary. Now, again, I like general notary work. If I'm going to get in my car and go somewhere, I like general notary work. The primary reason why, it is quick. I get them to pay me right there. Well, I don't get them to pay me, but you get paid on the spot. Sometimes with loan signing work, it could be like, oh, 30, 45 days before you get a check. But general notary work, I'm there. I mean, I just love it. Mwah, I love it when I get to someone's house. I'm able to help them, give them what they need. They show me the form, give me the identification. I'm looking, okay, that's you. Okay, all right. They sign. I notarize their document. I'm out in 6 minutes. And they're saying, how can I pay you? I'm like, okay. I take Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Square, cash, not anything but checks. So that's why I like general notary work. So, all right. Any questions before we take a break? We've been going. Good gracious.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Would it be wise to register, as a business, uh, as a notary, being that, I guess you signing documents, making income?
hmm Well, we're going to talk about that after the break, but I'll give you a sneak preview and my thoughts about this because a lot of people are like LLC and all of this. An LLC will protect you if, like, somebody, heaven forbid, somebody's like, I'm going to sue Larry because he messed up my signing. Okay. If you have an LLC, they won't be able to sue you individually. They won't be able to sue Larry Vaughn. They'll be able to sue LV Signings. And then they can sue LV Signings for all it's worth. But your personal stuff will be protected. Okay. I'm not an attorney. Let me say that. I'm not an attorney, everybody. So this is just based on my experience and advice. So that's why people do an LLC. Do you have to in order to be to do this loan sign? You don't have to. But another thing that protects you though is E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance. That you have to have that in order to practice. So I think the lowest amount is like $25,000. So if you say I messed something up and it costs somebody $10,000, they can file against my insurance and it'll be covered. But it'll be covered for me, excuse me, because I have $100,000 worth of insurance. I just upped it just because, just to stay protected. Um, so that just adds another layer of protection. So that's what people are asking about with the LLC. Do I have to do it? Don't have to, and it's up to you. You're going to have to talk with a business coach or maybe an accountant to figure out whether or not you have to. It's easy to do. And in some states, though, I heard it costs a lot. I heard in some states it costs like $200 to $500 to have an LLC. Virginia is not that much. Okay. All right. Any other questions before we go for a quick break? Okay, Ms. Yolanda, you're muted, but you had a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know about the fingerprinting, fingerprinting,
Yes.
because I had ran across that, and I said, "Oh, that's something interesting to add to the notary."
Mhm.
And how do you? Is there a class you have to take, or?
Well, different people offer classes. Like, so there's a man named Andre Hatchett who is in this space, in the coaching notary space. He does a lot of coaching of loan signing agents. I think he's got a fingerprinting workshop, but I think somebody told me in last class it costs like hundreds of dollars. Like, it's not.
It does.
Okay.
It does. I saw him. Yeah, he's quite expensive, and I was like, no, that's.
Well, bless him, but I so I don't know of anyone else. There are other people who have classes, but I don't know of anyone else that I can tell you right now, hey, here's my recommendation. But it might take a little bit more research to figure out kind of
Okay.
who can put you in the right direction, and research a little bit. It might be something you might say, this is not for me, or
I've also heard that the equipment is expensive. I don't know how expensive, but that to do the fingerprinting, the equipment that you need, that is quite costly also.
Oh,
It
wow.
is, if you want to purchase the equipment to do the electronic fingerprints, that can be expensive. But some people say, and Andre Hatchett, he's like, I don't teach people to do the electronic. He just teaches people to do the ink on the cards.
Mhm.
So I guess he's like, you spend your money on this training. Don't spend it on the machine. I don't know. So yeah, no shade to the brother. Hey, everybody's trying to make, all of us would like to make some money, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes,
I'm
true.
not going to throw shade. So, all right, folks, we're going to have a break. It was designed to be 10 minutes, but I feel like I need to make it shorter because we're not going to have time to get through everything. And I will stay a little bit later after, but I know if you allot it 2 hours, I want to make sure I get through most of the lion's share in 2 hours. Okay. All right, folks, I'm going to start my timer. Am I starting the timer? Oh, nope. Okay. But you can go ahead and turn off your cameras if you like, turn off your headset. I don't want to hear you, if your dog is getting on your nerves, you don't have to say, "What? Get out of here, Scruffy." So I'll we'll be back in 10. Okay. All right, let me see. Video. If anybody can happen to still hear me, I'm going to cut the break a little short. I'm going to put it to like 6 minutes. So just a little short. So. All right. I am, man, this class, it needs to be longer, but I don't want it to be longer because then that's just too much. I don't know. So I'm thinking about doing some additional professional development opportunities. I thought about starting like a Patreon, and then I would have twice a month coaching sessions or calls in which then we could get kind of like just in time, on time coaching. So I'm thinking about that. And y'all can tell me, whether or not you think that would be something that would be beneficial, something that you would want or need. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. So
I was gonna ask you because I saw on your website like you had another class or something that was up. But I wasn't sure if that was like a pre-recorded, like you could watch. I wasn't sure how that was set up. I wasn't sure if it was a live interactive class like this, or would it be like something like buy this, pay for this, and then you'll watch the recording. I wasn't sure.
oh, okay. So the probably what you saw was
You.
something, or it probably was the other classes that I had were just like this. So I've been doing these once a month. So I did one in
Oh,
February, I did one in January. So
okay.
that's what you probably saw. And so in addition to that, and for the folks that have already been through this class, there was a lot of interest last month, and I just did not move on it. I've been tired in terms of doing this. And but people really would like to have some type of continuing education, maybe like I said, we can get together twice a month and just kind of get go down to the nuts and bolts of what you guys are going through at that time. So
Yeah.
how,
I would find it helpful. I would definitely be interested. And I was going to ask you, did you do any like mentoring, or have any type of mentoring program? I don't know if that's something we could talk about offline or what. I don't
yeah, we can talk about that offline. I don't
know.
know.
Okay.
You could see me at Wegmans and I'll give you some tips as we're walking.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. So I am going to go ahead and continue. Hopefully, our other participants will hurry up because oh my gosh, only have 30 minutes left. Lord have mercy. Okay. So let's talk about setup. And as I mentioned to you all before, this will be recorded. So you'll be able to get the information if you are not yet back from break. Okay. So, business setup. What's the bare minimum that you need to set up your notary business? Let's talk about the lean startup, as it's called sometimes. Okay. We've already answered this, but true or false, you must register your business as an LLC before you can take clients. Is that true or false?
False.
It is false. You don't have to. Um, a lot of people, and I've done it too. So I'm not casting aspersions, but well, I need to do this and I need to do that. And it's like, child, you're just stalling. You're not doing it's like, well, how about my business name? Which is but what about a website? Like here, let's talk about the bottom line. What do you need? The startup supplies to start your business. You
So you
need
don't think you
you need a name, but some people will spend so much time on the name, they delay what they're going to do. Because think about, you can change the name later, especially if you don't like the name and the name's not that successful. No offense. It's not like you can't make a shift a little bit later on. I think a name's important, but you know, Tarima, she's saying amen. She knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I did everything I could to stall and delay, and I'm kind of still doing it, just based on not having the confidence, just trying to do everything else. But yeah, I know we're behind on time, so I won't keep
That's
talking.
all right. No, but also that's another thing in subsequent classes. We'll practice. We are going to practice and we're going to do some role playing, that sort of thing. So, okay. Pens. Now, I just happen to have a lot of pens and pencils because I'm an educator. I've been a teacher and a assistant principal for a long time. But when you get into notary work, you are going to just know black and blue pens. Some places specify they want you to write in blue. Why? Because back in the day, not really now, blue is harder to make a forgery of. So that's why they're like sign in blue ink only. So make sure whatever, even if it's a document for general notary work, kind of see if they kind of distinguish whether or not they want you to do blue or black. Now, sometimes, yeah, if not, some people prefer, I want you to write in black ink. I'm like, oh, okay, it doesn't specify, so that's fine. Business cards. I've got and I hate when people do this all the time, but I've got a video on my channel, if you may have seen it, about printing your
Yeah.
own business cards. That is what I recommend, because I have several packs of business cards that I've ordered from Vistaprint. You get them from Vistaprint, and it's like, it's only $12 for 5 million cards, which is fine. But you switch something, or you add a service or something like that, you got 5 million old cards hanging around. So I would suggest, and the cards look nice and professional, because I didn't want my cards looking all bootleg. So this is a good thing. And I've got like I said, there's a video on my channel about that. And you can get more information about how to print your own cards. You need a notary journal. Well, all states don't require a journal. Virginia does. And
Texas does.
okay. But what I want you to do, no, Virginia doesn't? You're saying Virginia doesn't?
It doesn't. They recommend it, but they don't require it.
Right. I recommend everybody have a journal, just in case, because they'll say, 3 years ago, did you notarize Mr. Moneybags, because he's died, and they have a question. I'm like, oh, yep, I did. I notarized Mr. Moneybags. Okay. Stamp. We talked about stamp. So here comes Larry. He's coming back. We talked about having a stamp. I recommend Amazon to get your stamp, in order to make sure it's economical, make sure it complies with your state, and a notary bag. So I had a bag that I used just for notary stuff, but then I need to get more organized and do it more, because another thing that I have that you don't have to have, I have a clipboard. It's a big metal clipboard that you can open up, and I put my journal inside. You can put pins inside. Now my stamp doesn't fit. I can't close it back if I put my stamp in that, but I put several things in that clipboard. And then that can go in a bag. But yeah, you need to make sure that you have a good organizational system for your stuff. There will be people who will I had an instance when I was at the post office, and somebody was like, hey, I need a notary. And then the postal service was like, well, we don't have, our notary's not here. And I was like, I'm a notary. And they were like, oh, okay. And they were like, I said, well, I got my stamp in the car. I'll be right back. So after I finished my transaction, they finished their transaction, went ahead and notarized their documents. In last class, they were like, did you charge them the full fee? I was like, I sure did. Because they didn't have to go one more place. They just were there. And I think it was one stamp. So it was $40. It was actually a separation or divorce agreement. So always keep your stuff with you. I have 2 stamps, but I always have one in my car at all times. Okay. All right. Let's talk about identifying the perfect market. So we talk about general notary work. You can kind of be a person who does all sorts of documents, or you can specialize with one particular place or one particular type of business. And we'll talk about that. If you're not sure which way you want to go, start as a generalist. So I'll talk about the different places. You could be a person who goes primarily to hospitals and nursing facilities. You market to them. I've dropped off some cards, some of those Vistaprint cards that I had, since I have a million of them. And I just said, hey, there is a nursing facility not far from me. Now, during COVID, they stopped people from coming in, but just a couple weeks ago, someone else asked me to come by and to notarize documents. So you can be a person who markets to those places. Tow yards, I mentioned. Um, Evidently, it's a thing that you have to have you have to kind of give permission for someone to go get your car if your car gets towed. Okay. So if you have your cards at a tow yard, and the people are already mad and they already don't, they're like, I need this. Well, and then they would be happy to give the person your card, like, oh, well, I have a notary who can meet us here. Okay. So that's one thing. Estate planning attorneys, or they're called probate attorneys. So these are attorneys who have who work with people doing wills, advance directives, and other. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm dog sitting, and the dog has just come here, so it's okay. That's okay. So that is so estate planning attorney. I had one attorney who I've gone and to her home, and it's her home. She has a setup outside 4 times for um four different clients. So she contracts with me and says, hey, I have, can you meet me Thursday at 6 o'clock? So Thursday, I get there. She's an attorney. So she has drawn up the documents. She's explaining everything to the person. I'm just there. I'm witnessing the transaction. I look at the ID. I notarize it. The attorney pays me and I go on my way. So if you get a good relationship with several attorneys in that way, that would be wonderful. And some people were like, well, don't they have people in their office who do that? Some of them do, but everybody takes a vacation. Okay. Also, the value add that you will have is you can go to the person's home. That their assistant that works there, it doesn't necessarily go out. Okay. And car dealerships. I will tell you online, as a Ron, that's one thing that I do a lot of, which the power of attorney, like somebody's buying a car and evidently there's a power of attorney and then they have to have that notarized. So if you have a relationship with the car dealership, and because a car transaction can take a while, and you're down the street and you tell the people, hey, I can be here in 20 minutes notice. Okay. So those are different like markets you can kind of get in and corner. Okay. Yes, Angela.
Have you ever done jails?
I've not done jails, but my understanding is that jails, they do need notarization services, that your client is the family of the person who's incarcerated, because typically person aren't using their one phone call to call you to notarize something.
Right.
So and I know that there are people who kind of have relationships with the people at the jail, and again, they can give your card, so and so, well, you have to have this notarized. Well, I don't know a notary. Well, here you go. Boom. Larry Vaughn's a notary. Boom. Tarima Clark's a notary. She'll come out here. So I've not done jails though.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about pricing. All right. The thing you all need to know, pricing is psychological. Again, Angela, when she found out about that $5, is that you who found out about the $5 a shot? And you were like, what is this? Okay. So when a lot of people hear about becoming a notary, you hear the $5, you're like, I don't know about that. And some people, when you hear, well, you can charge additional fees, they're like, I don't know. I don't want to, people can get it done for free. I don't know. So you have to get in your mind a feel good price, a price that you feel good, that you have no problem quoting, and that you have no problem getting pushback, because you know what your service is worth. Okay. So let's talk about possible upsells. So if your state says you can charge X number of dollars, so like Yolanda, what is it in Texas?
Texas?
Yes.
$6. $6 down here.
Okay. So again, none of us are gonna get rich making $6 per transaction. However, here's some possible upsells, and these are things I've personally done. So somebody kind of got me. They said, hey, can you come and do a transaction? I said, sure. And then somebody was like, hey, well, can you print this for the client? I'm like, oh, Okay. And I typically don't do that because that was one reason I got out of the loan signing agent business. It was killing trees left and right, all that printing, all that. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. But if somebody wants me to print a power of attorney or affidavit or something like that, I'm like, okay, sure, $10. So I mean, almost everything I do, I'm adding 10. Okay, so it's $40 for me to come out and put apply one stamp. Print it, sure, $10. Oh, well, can you then drop it off at UPS and FedEx? And again, for me, that's stuff I can't stand about loan signings. So I'll do it. You won't have to pay me to do it. Okay. So if they want you to drop off that, you can add another fee for that. Somebody said, "Hey, can you scan this document back to me?" It's kind of sure. There's an additional fee for that. Okay. Some people do this. Actually, I haven't done this. A rush or the same day service. If someone calls and says, "Hey, how soon can you get here?" Well, okay. Any appointment that I take within the hour, there's a $10 additional fee. Yeah. Okay. That's one thing you can add. And all of these things, it's not like we're like gouging people, but you pay for convenience, right? And some people, most of the people I deal with are happy to pay what I'm asking because they want it done fast. They want it done right. They don't want to have to leave their house. During the COVID times, they didn't want people breathing on a whole bunch of folks. Okay. And then another thing is extended wait time and extended distance. I went one time to a nursing facility and there was a whole thing because the man who was in the nursing facility he it was just a whole lot. Like nobody wanted to go get him, and then they were like, "No, we can't go get him." And so I was there for like about an hour and a half. So that could be extended. I didn't charge them for that, but that's what made me think about it. I'm like, okay, I know some people charge for extended waiting times, and if an extended distance, you determine what your um radius is. And if somebody says, "Hey," so if you're in Hampton and you say, "Hey, I service Hampton, Newport News, and Norfolk," if somebody says, "Can you come down to Virginia Beach? I really," you're like, okay, sure. Again, I put $10 on everything. Another thing that people need and that you can add for witnesses. So let me tell you this, Angela here. Oh, yes, Angela. So Angela, now I know you and know your name. I will be using you. And I'll say, "Hey, Angela, I got this. There's somebody needs a signing and they need a witness," because people will tell you, "I don't have a witness. I don't, can you bring somebody?" And my kids are 16 and 13. I can't use them yet, but when my son turns 18, he will be used. You understand me? I will. And so you can charge for witnesses as well. So those are just some things that you can, I want to get the wheels turning in terms of like, oh, I can only charge $6. No, no, you can charge more. I said, I don't raise my garage door for less than 40. And for me, and that's just my comfort point because and I don't have a very complex pricing formula. Some people are like, "Well, and it's 52 cents a mile, and then we do this and then we do that." um we we don't so I don't do all that. I'm like, "Hey, it's 30." I'm sorry, I'm gonna have a dog with me, guys. She's just sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
She's cute. She's really cute.
She's adorable. All right, now be quiet, Tandy. All right, so what I do is I just have a flat, it's like a flat fee, and then I charge $5 for each additional stamp. That's how I do it.
Okay, that's I was gonna ask that question.
Right. Each additional stamp. So, okay. So that's the possible upsells. Let's talk about marketing. So I was going to go around like, "Oh, how do you market your business and get y'all's feedback?" But look, I done run out of time. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you some places where you can market your business. If you don't do anything else once you get off of this training, this call, you need to set up a Google business page. That is, again, this is worth the cost of admission right here. Me telling you this. That's how people find you. When you need something done, what do? You Google it, right?
Mm.
All right. And so Google Business, that is a place where people go and I suggest it. I highly recommend it. The Nextdoor app. How many of you all are familiar with that? The
I do. I
next
have it.
Right. The Nextdoor app is like in your neighborhood. It's with your neighbors and it's conversations for mostly about lost dogs and people who won't clean up after
Mhm.
themselves. But often they're like, oh, I need a notary or whatever. And you can advertise on these different apps as well. Leave her alone. Leave her alone, Kendall. All right. Yelp. I've gotten some hits from Yelp. Um, and that's fine. Yeah, I get some hits from Yelp, not as many. UPS and FedEx. Now, again, like I said, I don't like going there. So that's when it's a loan signing agent. You go and you have to take and drop off documents and that sort of thing. But people go there for notary services. And sometimes they can notarize, sometimes they can't. If you make friends with the people who work there and like, hey, um, it's some of the folks who work there be like, okay, and they'll take your card. I'm like, look, if somebody's looking for somebody to come out and notarize a document, take my cards, let them know that I can do it. Oh, okay, sure. And they will, let other people market for you as well. Um, Also, Thumbtack. Thumbtack.com. Thumbtack is an app. I get most of my business from Thumbtack. So it's controversial because it's like a paid lead service, right? So you put in like, hey, I'm a notary and here are the services I provide. And people go in and they say, I need a notary in Woodbridge. And if you're one of the listings they choose, if they ping you, you pay to contact and be in communication with that person, right? I used to get a lot of business from Thumbtack. They've changed their algorithm lately, and I haven't really been kind of on and really interacting with them a lot, but check it out. Some people are like, I'm not paying for leads. I paid for leads because I put enough of a cushion. Like I said, I don't charge less than 40. Now, if we can charge $5 and you're charging 7 and Thumbtack is charging you $3, I mean, you're paying money to go and help someone. So that's why I like Thumbtack. The post office, again, I told you the story. Somebody was there, was like, hey, we need a notary. And they're like, oh, we don't have one. I say, I'm a notary. That's a way to get business.
But how do you get business at the post office though?
Look at this last one, your car. Okay. I've got a magnet that I can stick on the side of my car that says Nova Pro Mobile Notary. Okay. When I go certain places, when I go to the UPS store, when I go to the post office, I have that on there. Okay. There's stories where you hear when people are like, there was a notary who had something on the back of his car, some type of sticker, and then he got a call. And someone said, hey, can you come and notarize a document? They're like, yes. They said, where are you located? And they said, I'm right behind you. I'm driving. I see. Can you pull over? And he was like, pull right over. Right. So those are ways that you have to all let people know, because everyone needs a notary at one point or the other. And you don't know or realize you need one until you need one. And when you need one right now. Right. So paid ads, that's also a route that you could go. Google, you can have a Google AdSense account. But those are all ways that places you can market. Okay.
Can I tell you something real quick? I just want to show
Yes,
it real quick.
please.
Do y'all see this sign? I want to know what you think about this, Sia. I was thinking about this, like having this is can y'all see that? It's like a neon sign. And every time you talk about your garage, I was thinking about my little idea. I'm about to move and it's going to be in a condo community. So when I'm sitting in my garage on a summer evening or whatever the case, when that garage goes up, they can see that sign, like the people who drive by, just so it can be seen. So I was thinking that might be a good idea, but I'm still not going to let them come to me, even if we do live in the neighborhood.
So that was my question, because if they see that sign, they're going to be like, ding dong.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, I think you just have to know people are going to come to your house. And if you don't want them to come to your house, then you're kind of teasing them. Notary, but don't come here. Right. I like the sign. It looks nice, but
okay. So I haven't ordered it yet. That's why I wanted to get your feedback on that, because I haven't thought it through.
Yes. So just know, but when you put that sign out, they're gonna come to you.
Well, see,
So
that's my dilemma is I don't know if I want to, because I have my daughter here and
right.
she can't take a shot, and I have a cousin downstairs that lives with me. He already have pre-existing conditions. I'm getting
Mhm.
ready to take my shot Monday, and I'm just leery about people, me going to somebody's house,
Mhm.
and not knowing what, since we're still dealing with this thing, not
Right.
knowing whether they had a shot or not. So my thing was to be able to do it online. That's what my goal is, to do it
Right.
online and do it part-time, and still, maybe down the road, once we get this virus a little bit more under control, I'm,
Mhm.
open to go out. But right now I'm kind of, leaning towards doing it online.
So let's
you
talk
know
about that. Let's talk about becoming a remote online notary. So the first thing, and who said that I'm sorry, my memory is not really great. Who said that they're already is that you,
Misha.
Tamisha? Yes, you are already on
Yes, I did my
Notarize.
first one, and then I was like, oh, okay, I did that. Now let me sit down because I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, no, no, no. And it takes a lot of practice too. It's just
Yeah.
even I had been a notary for a few years beforehand. It's a different system. So the steps to become a remote online notary. The first thing is the Secretary of State website where you went and got your commission, your overall commission. They have a section for electronic notarization. So all of this stuff, the acts themselves, like what an acknowledgement is and what a jurat is, that's generally speaking. But here specifically, some states like Virginia, we've had Ron's the ability to be a Ron since 2013. So we were pioneers in the but of course with COVID, a lot of states have jumped on board and said, hey, well, we'll let people do it. Now, some of that legislation is running out though. And so you have to check with your Secretary of State site to find out whether or not they're going to continue with Ron or allowing Ron. Virginia, we're good. I'm not sure.
Texas is good too.
Okay,
So
good, good. And so who else we have here? Florida. We got
Florida's good.
okay. Well, then we
It
all
was
good.
permanent established January 1st, 2020.
Mwah, perfect. So Tamisha, we're all good here. Okay. So the thing that I want you to do is you need to know you have to have a separate commission. So you have to apply for an e-notary commission. Here in Virginia, that was like $45. Um, and someone asked me, or somebody came on the line, oh, maybe it was Edward, who was like, hey, how long did it take you to get your commission? It took less than 2 weeks for that to come back.
In
So
Florida, it was $10 and it took like 1 week. It was really quick.
$10.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay, great. Well, there you go, Florida. Email. There you go. Um, so it's a process. It's interesting and it can be kind of convoluted because there are like several steps you can do at the same time. So you can apply for your e-notary and then you can get your digital certificate, which is like it's like your license, like your driver's license. So it's like your e-notary license, right? So that's your digital certificate. That's one thing. And then a digital stamp is like your stamp, but it's you click it to apply on a document online, right?
you have to do you because I was told you have to go through Indent Trust to get
I didn't.
the digital and the digital stamp and your digital certificate.
So you get your digital certificate through a company called Iden Trust.
Yeah.
So that's after though you have your electronic notarization, your e-notary. So that's the first thing you need to do. You need to go and get your e-notary. Okay. And then Iden Trust wants you pay maybe like I paid like $99 for a year to get your digital certificate. And then when I signed up with Notarize, I didn't have to pay for my digital stamp. They gave me a digital stamp. Okay. So each company is going to be a little bit different. And I believe Notarized might be in all the states that we have represented here. I believe Florida, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I recommend Notarize as a company. It's they've just treated me well, and I started off. You get $5 per transaction, which you might like. Well, okay, that's you're not going to set the world on fire, but then after a certain amount of transactions, for me, I thought it was me. I can't remember if it was 50 or 100 transactions. You move on to the gold level. Well, silver level, which means that you can start taking general notarizations plus, oh gosh, I've got 2 minutes left, plus business calls. So I get things from tow yards, from different, who else? TIAA CREF, so like different investment companies. So if there's a spousal waiver form that like somebody wants to get money out of their account and their spouse has to sign off on it, that needs to be notarized, that comes through. So that's the second level, which is silver. Then the gold level, which I'm on now, which is real estate transactions. I love that because everything I hate about being a loan signing agent, I don't have to deal with it. I It's the same document, so you need to know what you're doing as a loan signing agent, but there's no printing documents, there's no going to FedEx, there's no having to spend a lot of time in people's homes. So for that at on Notarized, we get $25 per transaction. So that can add up pretty quickly. I know one evening I came home, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do some transactions. So from like 6 to 8, I had made $150. So not bad. Okay. So the whole thing about being a Ron is go to your state and find out, go to the Secretary of State site and find out what their step-by-step process is. And then again, there's some things you can do in a parallel fashion that will help assist you along. It's hard to say step one, step two, step three because it does vary so much from state to state.
Now,
And
what do you go to apply for the e-notary?
On your
Is it
yep, the
the
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State? Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
I wanted to add that was recently contacted by Amrock, who's now doing complete online closings, and they're paying $60 per closing. So becoming a Ron, I think some of the companies are going to be moving in that direction. So I would definitely recommend it because that's great. If I could do complete closings just at home on my computer and make more money, that's great. So I did the training for them. I'm waiting for them to launch it, and they said in a few weeks.
Well, allow me to do that. I'm gonna get my little pencil. Amrock. I might contact them myself because for me, it takes maybe about 20, maybe 30 minutes to do a closing, a full closing.
Yeah, they
Right.
said the closing in the training that I did, they said it was 15 to 20 minutes. If it's two people, they said it's like 20 to 25 minutes.
Absolutely. So
Do you
60.
do you still get paid the $100 to $200 to do
No, they're
the
saying they're gonna pay 60.
No. So yeah, so it pays less than if you were going out and doing the loan signing, but for me, it's worth to because all of the hard, all the trouble. Oh my goodness. So
You're not paying gas, you're not getting in your car, you're not
Yeah.
printing out any papers. It's less time. It's, so for $60 for 20 minutes and not printing anything, not paying any gas, I mean, it's worth it.
and some of the signing companies are coming in with some very low numbers also anyway. If you're a loan signing agent and you sign up with these signing companies, which is like kind of an Uber for loan closings where they ping you, hey, we've got a loan closing in your area for $40. I'm like, oh no, I make $40 for general notary work. I'm not coming out and doing all that for them. So
But see,
that's
that was my next question, to find out if you could do it online. Because like I said, just not just with the general, I was going to take a class, and I think from the National Notary Association
Mhm.
was like almost close the $260, I believe.
Mhm.
And I was going to sign up for that class, after I get the e-notary and all the other stuff out the way,
Mhm.
and everything. And I was going to sign up for Notarize, but I wanted to get the loan signing thing out of the way, because I was like, I do not want to be going through this stuff where you got to print all these papers up. And because I hear
Exactly.
people online sitting there saying, oh, you got to print all the papers, you got to do this. And I was like, I do not want to be going through it. I don't have time for all that.
Yeah,
So,
I concur. And so yes, but some companies, and Tamisha, you tell me this, I think with Notarized, they want you to have the NNA certification, which just means that you take a test that means you're a loan signing agent.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's another
I
thing
have
to
that.
look at too. Yeah, so that's how you were able to get in. So
Yeah, and I'm not sure how MROC got my information because they contacted me about doing the remote online that they were launching for the closings. I have not done any regular closings for them. So
oh wow.
I don't know if they went to the state of Florida because there's only certain states that they're starting with, and then
Mhm.
you have to be a remote online notary. So I don't know if they got my information from the state licensing office, and then they contacted me to do the training to see if I was interested in, doing it.
That's good
So
information, Tamisha. I appreciate that because I just heard another notary here in Virginia who recently got approved for that.
mhm.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
have,
they reached out to me. So I don't know if it was through the NNA or if it was through the state of Florida licensing Ron listing. You know what I mean? Because I didn't do anything to do that.
wow.
I haven't even been doing. I only did one loan signing. It wasn't with Amrock, and
See?
so
Wow,
they
that's
didn't get
amazing.
me from like being out there doing all these loan closings because that's not something that I've done.
That's
And
good.
I just got with Notarized, and that was before I did anything with them, was officially with them also. So, but I did have the state, Ron. I was
Mhm.
official with the state. So they had to get it from NNA, that me completing the loan signing certification, or the Ron certification, because I did the NNA Ron certification also. And
Mhm.
then I had the state Ron was already done. So it could have been from any of those three, NNA or the state.
That's good.
Perfect.
Hmm.
So, okay, before we move further, we're already over time. So, if there's anybody who has to log off, I understand. I'm going to keep on. I'm going to continue. That's the end of the formal part of the presentation. I'm just going to have some questions, some Q&A. I'm going to record that part, and I'll give you a link probably within a few hours with this video. So if anybody has to go, I understand. I'm not going to hold you, but if you want to stay on, I will answer some questions. I want to make sure that you have everything that you have questions about. Um, as I mentioned, I lifted some questions from the pre-workshop questionnaire, and we may have already answered some of these questions, but someone asked, what are the most common requests other than jurats and acknowledgements? And what type of forms do you run into that have stumped you because they look different? If I see the word sworn on the certificate, is that always a jurat? And where do I need to take an oath or affirmation? Well, yeah, we've talked about that. If you see the word sworn, that is usually a jurat. Um, and what types of forms have stumped me? Again, I really just look at whether or not the form says, um, kind of, I just kind of take a look and know that there's certain language on almost every form, like who, you need to know, where's the signer's name go, where does your name go, where's the date go, and then your commission number, also your commission number, and in Virginia, it's kind of like when your commission expires. So those are kind of like the elements I always look for. Sometimes, again, they make it look extra confusing for no reason. Um, but when I see sworn on the certificate, I usually take an oath. I'm like, oh, I see it's a sworn statement, so I'll go ahead and take an oath. Okay. All right. Next, oh, say someone calls about notarizing a school form or a POA. How do I handle that? How do I handle that? So let's say someone calls. Does anybody want to do a quick role play?
I'll do one.
Oh, okay. Okay, either one. All right. So let's say you're going to call me for, and you want me to notarize the document. So we'll ring, ring. You're the client, and I'll be me. And I'll take you through what I would say. And again, this is not the official word, the only thing you can say, but I'll let you know kind of what I say. Oh, okay. And I see Edward has a question as well. Before we start the role play, what is the name of the company that you can get your certificate from in Virginia? It's Iden Trust. If someone can put that in the chat for me, please. Sorry, I got a mouse in one hand and a dog in the other. Isn't that crazy? So Iden Trust. So all right, Miss Angela, we're going to, no, we're good. My daughter wants the dog. Dog does not want her. Sorry. Okay. So ring, ring, ring. Go ahead.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hello, Nova Pro Notary.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard you were a notary, and I have a document that I need notarized for my child's school.
Oh, okay, great. And may I ask your name?
It's Lisa.
All right, Lisa. Hi. Yes, I am a notary and I do notarize documents. Do you know what kind of form it is that needs to be notarized?
It's like verifying that I'm her parent.
Ah, okay, absolutely. And where are you located, Lisa?
We're in Dell City.
Okay, perfect. So yes, I am a notary and I can help. If you like, I have some availability this evening. Would you like me to come by and notarize that document for you?
Oh, sure.
Okay. So in order for me to come out and travel and notarize one document, it starts at 40, and then there's $5 for each additional stamp that I apply. Okay. Um, do you have any questions about that? Do you still want to schedule something?
So if I have 2 pages that need to be notarized, then that will be $60.
No, if you have 2 pages that need to be notarized, it would be 40 for the first and then 5 for the second. So it would be 45.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I will, I'm glad to help you. If you decide you want to go with a Nova Pro, let me know and I'd be happy to come out and help.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye. All right. I thought you were going to say, what? $40. So,
You said people were like, okay, that's fine. So I just figured I'd be a compliant parent.
well, I appreciate that. But yeah, no, so it's usually in that case, it's somebody's like, I've got a form, it needs to be notarized before 1 o'clock. Can you come? I'm like, it's 12:10. Okay. And if you can't do it, you can't do it. But if you can, then yeah, they're more than willing usually to pay. But you do get some people. And again, I gave her an out. I'm like, would you still like to make an appointment? There's no hard feelings. I'm not going to feel sad inside if she's like, this is ridiculous. This is highway robbery. I'm like, okay, well, evidently, well, good luck to you. I hear Angela Morris doing notarizations for $7. I'll send you to her. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna charge more than that. I don't know. I can't charge like 40 yet because I'm just starting, but I will be cheaper.
Okay, you go ahead. That whatever your feel good price is, but just know that whether it's your first step or your 400 stamp, they still need your notarization.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just saying. Sorry. The coaching becomes I'm a life coach too. So all right. So any other questions about that particular thing? Like how it would answer?
I'll wait.
Okay. And so I think, and this might have been, I think I know who had this one. We're working part-time as a remote online notary, and can you do loan signings, etc., online? We've talked about that. Yes, we can. In the words of Barack Obama, yes, we can. You can do online notarizations. And that's what I love to do. Because again, I can knock out 2, maybe 3 of them in an hour. and make a quick 75 bucks and sitting right here. This is my whole setup. I'm right here. This is a photographer's like backdrop.
That's right.
And I
Mhm.
did actually I did a video recently about what this whole setup is. Um, and I usually put it up. Sometimes you just gonna get my kitchen because that's what I'm doing if I'm doing Ron at my house, as long as it's not looking crazy. My kids have
What
done what they're supposed
that's
to do.
what that's what I did. I went out and on Amazon the other day. I just got it delivered. I got it. Thing is heavy. I got to bring it upstairs. But I got my office in my bedroom. Right, my
Okay.
desk is right next to my bed. So, and I was thinking, I said, oh my God, if I get on, I don't want nobody to see the rest of my house. So
Mhm.
that's when it popped into my head. Get one of those dividers, room
Absolutely.
dividers. And I went online on Amazon and ordered it. And I said, oh, okay.
Mhm.
And that's what popped into my head because I said, I don't want nobody seeing the back of my house
That's
and
right.
everything. So
Yolanda wants to be a secret notary agent. You don't want no she
I don't want
wants to
nobody
be a
knowing nothing
secret.
about
So, and I understand that. I understand that piece. So,
the virus changed a whole lot of things for a lot of us. And I'm just trying to keep myself safe because I don't want this girl getting sick,
I
because she
understand
can't
that.
talk or anything. So, and she can't tell me whether or not she's, sick and I, thank God she's been healthy through the years that
Absolutely.
she's has grown up. And I just don't want her getting sick and myself
Yes.
getting sick.
I definitely
So,
understand that. Absolutely.
I have a
I-
question about
All right.
notarized.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the same way that Tamisha was talking about Amrock,
Mhm.
don't they have like this? Because I'm in the zone with notarized now, and I'm doing the training
Mhm.
phase. I haven't done my first one like Tamisha, but I'm like almost to that point. But
Okay.
I'm just the chicken or whatever. But so, um, you know how they said, I don't know if they said this, but aren't they testing something where, or doing a pilot or something like what Tamisha was talking about Amrock is doing, where we can bring our own clientele to do signings on notarized, but they haven't like released it or put it out?
They are doing that, but I think Tamisha's talking about something different. I
Okay.
think Tamisha is talking about, if I'm not mistaken, well, actually, I might be misunderstanding, is that mortgage companies themselves, instead of going through Notarize, they go through Amrock. And then, if that does that sound right, Tamisha? Did
So
I
what
get
it
that?
is Amrock is the closing company. So they're using Nexus as their platform, but they're as a whole, Amrock, there's a lot of closings. There are major loan closings. So instead of having people go out, they're switching over to Ron. So eventually, it seems to me they're not going to have people going out to people's homes anymore. They're only going to be doing online because right now it's just Quicken Loans, refinances only. But
Mm,
as that launches and it goes well and they add to it, eventually, I think all of the Amrock services were going to be online. They just happen to use Nexus as their platform instead of Notarize. But when Notarize they do have a closing portion on their website, and there are some companies that are going to sign with them as their platform.
Got it.
yes, and that's
I
what I
see.
do. Hmm.
I
Absolutely.
see. So they're feeding you. You're not bringing your own people. They're giving you the closings.
Yeah,
They
they're
are.
giving you the closings.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I think you're correct, though. I think Notarize is going to, they are testing something where you can bring your own clients to them. Um, but that's again, that's 2.0. I'm not there. I, I did a video about a company partnered with me called Live Notary, and that's a bring your own client platform, which it sounds good and it sounds less expensive than some of the others. Like Sinex, I think is kind of pricey. Some of the other ones are a bit pricey. Live Notary, for what I saw, looks good. It looks a lot like Notarize. If you do Notarize, it looks just like Live Notary, looks just like Notarize.
Okay.
And you could tell, I think, because Guy Pearson, who's the guy who I think started it, I think he used to work with Notarize. And I'm like, oh,
Oh,
well, evidently there was no non-disclosure
It
so
might end up in court.
or whatever. But so you can, there are platforms for that. I think that's like a later on move though, because I'd rather get, and I, like I said, I've done over 700 transactions on Notarize. I still, as long as they're feeding me enough business so I stay busy, the whole marketing myself as a Ron and saying, hey, and bringing my own people to a different platform, I've not really done that yet.
Yeah, I did see someone posted in Washington State that they're going to be the first state that notarizes launching bring your own clients. So they are doing it, but I
Oh,
think it's rolling out really slowly. And that they're doing Washington State first. So eventually we'll get to that point. And that would be great if I could do everything on one platform. It would be would be good. But just that the fact that the work is there makes me happy, that I don't have to leave my house, that I don't have to, that I can do everything there, make money. And then I love the little one transaction I did do. I love that the money was like, oh, we're going to deposit this next day. And the money, my little $6 was sitting there. I was like, okay.
absolutely.
That was nice. I was like, all right, I see how this works. So for me, it's just getting rid of the nerves of feeling like I don't know what I'm doing, to feel confident enough that I can be on there by myself and look at the document on site and figure out what to do and feel confident enough that I can handle it in front of the client. And, I just got to get over that hump, because I can go on there right now and go do it. But I'm like, I just got to get myself together.
Is it hard to learn? Is it
No.
hard to learn, Ron?
Is it hard to learn, Ron? No, I mean, the platform, once you do the training, the platform part is easy. I feel comfortable enough with that. I'm not, I've worked with computers enough in my life to feel confident with that. For me, it's the documents, like not knowing what the document is until I see it on the screen with the client. And you don't have any time to prepare or prep for it. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what it's going to entail. And you have to figure all of that out in front of the client while reading the script, while, trying to seem confident in what you're doing, when you're like freaking out because you don't know what, you're trying to read it and see what needs to be done. Like the first document I did, it was like 6-7 pages, and there was 2 notarizations, but I had to go through that document and look, okay, what is this? Is everything completed? Is there anything I need to fill in NA? Where does he sign? Where do I sign? There was one part that threw me off that said that it wasn't just the state of and the county of at the top, but in the middle of the document, it asked like, what city and county are we in? And obviously he was in California and I was in Florida. So I just put NA and NA because we are not anywhere. We are. So I didn't know, and it's those type of things that throw me off, that I'm like, oh, what do I do in these situations where I'm not sure? And you can't sit there and seem like you don't know. You have to, bring off the illusion that you're confident in everything that you're doing. So for me, that's just the hump that I need to get over.
It is. Now, let me say this, and there are a couple of things I want to say. First of all, I notarize. First of all, I don't work. I'm not a trainer for Notarize, so they don't pay me as a spokesperson. But Notarize, one thing that they do well is they have good customer service. So sometimes it gets they get backed up, and so it's a chat. It's in chat. And so I know now if I have a question and I'm like, "Ah, I'm not quite sure about this. I'll let the client know, like, hey, I'm not quite sure about this. I'm gonna phone a friend or chat a friend and see if I can get someone in. And then so I know the system enough to know. First, I'll put like document won't close or something like that. That's the first thing I'll put. And then someone will come up and say, hey, Sia, I'm Jenny from Notarize, and then so I've done it enough to know, kind of, even with the customer service piece, I'm not spending a whole bunch of time at the beginning, like, hey, the document won't close, blah, 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 blah. And then for her to say, hi, this is Jenny, what you need? And I had to type it again. So they have good customer service. And I think that the confidence piece is the one reason why I really wanted to do this class. And as I've done it several times, I've added more content, but I need you to know that you can do this. You can do it. your clients, you have to be a step ahead of them. And just the fact, Tamisha, that I could tell that you care that much, you're not going to be out here all reckless saying, well, I don't know, whatever. I'm just going to leave
Right.
some
No, I
blanks.
don't want to lose my
Right.
commission. I don't want to go to court. I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
So, so that desire to do well with your common sense, with what you've been trained to do and notarize, all of that was going to serve you well. And am I going to say I've made mistakes? I've made mistakes, and have had the people from Notarize were like, "Hey, you did such and such." I was like, "Oh Lord," and then I was scared, which is why, number one, side note, always have several different ways of earning income. I love Notarize. Notarize is great, but this Amrock, I'm gonna check on that because who knows? Notarize one day might say, "Sia, we heard you did a video on us. We don't like that. You're whatever," and they could discontinue our relationship.
hmm
So that's why I like to have lots of different things available to me. But I just want that's what I want. I want to kind of get people's confidence up, and so that to know that you can do it. You can do it. I've made mistakes. You might make mistakes. If you do, um, hopefully we'll minimize the impact of it. So it's not a commission killing mistake. It's you just left out the date or something. Or the
Okay. So,
venue.
but that's interesting. When you did make a mistake, they contacted you. Did you have to go back and redo something, or how did
I
it get fixed?
I didn't. So again, this is all from Notarize. So I apologize if you're not on
hmm
Notarize and that sort of thing. But so on Notarize, there was a thing that there were two signers, right? A husband and a wife. The husband had gone on and signed up for the platform or whatever. And he was like, "Oh, my wife wants to sign too." And I was like, "Oh, but she didn't go through the whole system." But I was like, "Oh, but I know I can add her. I can add her as a witness." Ooh, I added her as a witness, which is a big no-no because witnesses don't have to go through the full KBA knowledge base assessment system because there's a whole thing. They vet all of the signers and all that stuff. If you add somebody as a witness, they can come in kind of sideways and not have to go through that whole system. So I was like trying to help out a signer, trying to help out a client by saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. You don't have to sign in again." But
hmm
they were like, "Yeah, don't do that." I was like, "Oh, okay, I won't do that
So
no
then,
more."
so you would have had to terminate the call and let them come back
Yep,
in.
absolutely.
Okay, I see. I
That's exactly
understand.
what
Well,
I've
that's
had.
Oh,
good to
oh,
know. That's
Yeah,
good to know.
don't
gotcha.
add a witness. Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
wait a minute. I wanted to get clear on that. So terminate the call and have them come back. You said they weren't in the same room or they were?
They were in the same room, but evidently, what I've heard is that it's not always easy to know how to do a multi-signer
Okay.
transaction. It may not be, um, it may not be intuitive. So what I've done is, but so I just like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I have to terminate the call because, like I said, you can slap me on the hand once. I'm not, y'all not gonna get me out here crazy."
Okay.
Yes.
Two questions. One question is, so do you ever have people pay before you do you ever have them give a down payment or pay anything before you show up to do the transaction?
No, I don't. I don't charge until after the transaction is complete. Um, and that's the good thing about general notary work. It's pretty straightforward, pretty like bam, yes, no. Have I gone places sometimes and then it just didn't work out? Maybe they needed a witness and we didn't have witnesses or whatever. Yes, and I didn't charge that person at that time. Some people will still charge. Um,
Fine.
and so there was another situation where, ooh, this was an interesting one. There were some divorce papers that need to be signed, and evidently, the folks and there were a different cultural group that, and with this group, evidently both families were very, very involved. So the husband and the wife were there, but so were their families, and like so they were arguing over the paperwork and the stuff. Like, no, I don't want this here. And then I was like, so y'all want something notarized or not? So the husband, he apologized. He walked me out and he paid me anyway. Because probably was really embarrassed because it was a very interesting kind of a situation there. So it just depends on what you feel comfortable with and what your, if you have hard and fast rules, like if I come out, you're gonna pay me. Some people do say that. For me, it is a business. I do it for income, but helping people is really kind of the bottom line. If I haven't helped you, unless and if it's something out of your control, then I'm not gonna really. And if I had to go far now, I had to think about it.
Right.
But if it's in
No.
my immediate area,
Right.
but
Right.
so what I find with my pricing model, it all balances out because just like I said, raise my garage, it is $40. So I don't care if you're in Woodbridge or if you're in Alexandria, which is a little bit further away, whatever. And so it all balances out. Sometimes some things take a little bit more time, sometimes they take less time. So that's how that's my feel good place.
Okay. My other question is, what do you do? Do you have like a different cell phone or a different number for your notary work?
Yes, I did a video on this too. I have a Google Voice number.
Okay.
That is what I recommend. So I highly recommend that 100%. So if somebody was like, I'm going to get another phone. Don't get another phone because that's just too much. I've got another phone I already don't use for my real job, my full-time job. So what happens is if someone calls me on my cell phone, it will, oh, I know, I should get somebody to call me. Kendall, can you call me? Oh, she doesn't have a phone.
The only thing
So,
with Google Voice is that you can't do a voicemail. That's the only thing that I'm like, I don't know about Google Voice for this. I mean,
what do you mean?
like you can't, if you're not available or if you will get right back to them or something, you can't say, hi, this is Nova Pro, what your business
Mhm.
is, I will please leave a message and I'll be right back with you, or I'm not working today, or
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that outgoing message piece, but people leave me messages all the time. So evidently they're able to somehow, they might say, the caller, the number you've called is not available. So please leave a message. And if they really want a notarization, they will leave a message. And the good thing about Google Voice is that it transcribes it
right.
before you have to listen to the message. So I do have a separate Google Voice phone number, and that's my business number. That's what I recommend. It's free.
Well, see, I did something different. I went on ahead and just bought a second phone because the little phone I got is not really, I just like things separate.
Okay.
That's just how I am. And I already had a second number. So I just said,
Okay.
well, that second number. And I just went out and bought the Samsung. The new one just came out because that
Okay.
little phone that I got, I was like, well, no, I don't want that. That's an everyday type phone. And like you said, I could have probably went with the Google Voice or something, but
Mhm.
something just said, now keep this stuff separate
Right.
because I got people calling me, soliciting stuff on my cell phone. And I got a landline, a
Mhm.
regular landline that I use. So I just went out and said, you know what, let's just keep this stuff separate.
And if that works for you, then I say go for it.
Yeah.
That is what I would. With all of this, you are the business owner, and you
Mhm.
get to determine how you want to run your business, right? So that is everything I have is a recommendation based on my training and experience. At the end of the day, when you're out there with that client, you are the person who's going to have to be comfortable. You're the person who's going to have to be able to quote your price.
Mhm.
So all of those things, that's going to belong to you.
Could I ask a question, please?
Yes, Ime.
Hi, yeah, my question has to do because I want to lean into the general notary work a lot more.
Yes, ma'am.
However, since I'm mobile and I don't want people coming to my home or anything for any
Mhm.
general notary work,
Absolutely.
what do you use? I mean, I got a post office mailbox, and all that. But in terms of, well, I guess maybe this would only mostly apply with signing services. I was kind of wondering, like a business address, you know how sometimes people would Google you or Google your business name or
Mhm.
something location wise. I mean, how do you handle that? What do you have on, do you have any address on your cards? Do you, because I'm getting ready to
No.
print some business cards out.
Right. I,
Um,
I don't have business. I don't have a business address on my cards, and because people will ask me, because I'm like, hey, it's $40 for me to come out and notarize one document. Well, can I come to you? No, no, you cannot. So it's just not nice to know. My business model is I'm a mobile notary, and so that's what the pricing and the structure is based on that. Um, but
when you
so,
registered with the state, though, I'm sorry to cut you, but
oh,
when you
huh.
registered with the state,
Mhm.
um, what address did you use to register?
My home address.
I see.
Mhm.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
but I do understand some people want a separate address. One of the forms that I notarize most often, more than anything else on Notarize, is called the PS 1583. And that's an application for a virtual mailbox, and you have to get it notarized. So that's why I do it all day and, and all night. Um, but so that's how you can get yourself a virtual address, a virtual mailbox. And it's PS, so it's through the postal service. And
Uh-huh.
what they will do is they will scan any mail that comes to you and email it to you. Um,
So, so when you use your address to register with the state, isn't your address out there?
yes. So here's my philosophy. I All the information is always out there anyway. Just if anybody really wants to get you or see you, if the killer wants you, they're gonna come get you. But I mean, I so I understand the concern and the privacy concerns. But
Mhm.
I had another business before I did this. I told you I keep 17 things going. And that my business was registered at my home address all that time. And I never had a problem.
Okay.
Um, but it depends on your comfort level.
Okay.
Um, I
Okay.
still don't have a virtual address, so
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
Pray for
I
me. Pray that I stay safe.
You said that
all right.
PO box is called a what?
So it was called the form is called the PS 1583. It's a virtual mailbox.
Mhm.
Is there anything special about that form that needs to be done when you're doing that on Notarize?
So when I do that on Notarize, it's a form, it's an application. You put all of the applicant puts the information in. As the notary, I don't notarize that form itself. I put where it says signature of notary, I say see attached certificate. Okay. And then I do an acknowledgement form.
Okay.
Got it. You add a
A
document,
loose. Mm-hmm.
a loose leaf. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Absolutely. And that's the form I see. I mean, 80% of the forms I do on Notarize are that form.
Okay. Good to know. That's good. So just see attached and then add a loose leaf. Okay. Got it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I want to stay on as long. Oh, Edward, is that you? Want to say something? Oh, okay. I saw Edward's screen light up. I was like, oh, yeah, I thought he wanted to say something. Okay. Well, I'll take a look at the chat and make sure that I'm monitoring that. Oh my goodness, I have held you all over, but I'm willing to stay if y'all have additional questions. But again, if you
Thanks
have
for
to hop,
everything. Thank
no,
you so much for everything.
no.
I'll have to go now. I
Mhm.
appreciate your
Oh,
help.
okay. No,
All right.
okay. I'm gonna send out a evaluation and like with the link to this training as well. So make sure you give me feedback. Let me know what I need to do. Okay.
Will do. Thank
All right.
you.
This was
Thanks.
great. When is your next Oh, you were talking about how you're gonna do one where we do role plays or whatever.
Mhm.
When do you think you'll be rolling that out?
So, okay, y'all gonna push me to do this now, which I appreciate. But so what I was saying before, I don't know who all was on at this point. I think what I'm going to do for continuing education is I'm going to either start a Patreon, or also YouTube has a thing that you can have membership site. So really, essentially, it's going to be like a coaching group, and we'll get together twice a month, and we will have a topic, and then I'll answer questions. We'll do role plays. So that's what I'm committed to doing it. So what I'm going to do before this weekend is over, I'm going to kind of set up the structure in place, and then I'm going to put it out there for anybody who's taken this class before, and then other people who want to join. I like a smaller group. I don't want to have 100 people on. I think it's just more intimate, collegiate group. I think it's better. Um, so yeah, so I'm look for that to roll out in April.
Okay.
Yeah, look at me.
Because
Okay.
I'm
You're right.
looking to go live in May.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that would be perfect for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow if I can
Tamisha, you can do it.
get my.
You have
She's already live. She took one. You took one.
I did, but that was just I almost had to, because I was having problems with my sound. I couldn't connect my headphones, or something was wrong. I had to call an IT guy in to help me, because the platform was saying that there was nothing wrong with the platform, and I was having an issue with the people hearing me.
Okay.
So I had
It's
called the IT guy in, and the only way for me to test if it worked was to take a call.
Okay.
So
and you're like, what?
So I took the call because I had to find out whether or not whatever he did, if it worked or not. And so I had to take the whole complete call, and that was it. Once I did that, I was like, okay, it's working, and I just sat it down, and I didn't pick it back up
Yeah,
again.
it's working. Click. So
So I
yes.
finished it, but I was, again, I was just so nervous. But
Okay.
anyway, I want to go in and like do a day and sit and take calls, and but I haven't done that yet. I'm just
Okay.
this has definitely helped me
Oh, good.
feel better. Like, I'm gonna try to go
Yes.
tomorrow and do a day. But
Yeah, me too.
Good. I hope this was helpful. Angela. what
Okay,
is-
I have kind of like a split question. One
Come
is,
on.
so when you're authorized to do, like, we're authorized to do notaries in the state of Virginia, right?
Yes.
And they said something about the federal part. So does that mean you could be like in DC or Maryland and do something as long as it has to do with Virginia? Or how does that work?
You must be in the state you're commissioned. So we have to be in the Commonwealth of Virginia for the notarization to be valid. And I know that's nationwide. You have to be in the state in which you're commissioned. Which is, it's interesting because I get now with Ron, international, France, Africa. I've had all sorts of people, Alaska, all. Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, because I guess the platform, this is where they are in Prince William, Virginia, because through the platform, that's what makes it legal.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, all over the country. I rarely get people from Virginia on the notarized platform. And when I do, I'm like, oh, someone from Virginia.
Can I ask this question?
To Ron, then I figured I just needed to like get started. I'm thinking probably once I get my stamp in my book and whatever, and those sheets that you all are talking about, and maybe get my membership with NNA. And how do we get our, like, do we have to get our insurance through the NNA?
You don't have to get your insurance through the NNA. I just have, because it was just easier for me. I and the people who I know who didn't, to me, it wasn't that big of a cost difference. So I was like, for ease and for convenience. So, just like our clients, I paid for convenience. So I just went ahead and got
Is
through
it
them.
separate from the loan signing insurance, or is it you have to get it with that little package thing?
So there are several different packages you can get, and so,
Right.
one is a loan sign. Someone said they recently did this. So one's a loan signing package. So you can take the test and become a loan signing agent. And I think it has insurance involved with it as well, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken. Smell.
Yes, it does. It does. Because I'm getting ready to sign up for it. So
Okay.
it does have the, once you sign up with if you go with the ANA and everything, they have the package and the insurance and stuff is added to it. I
Okay.
believe that's what I saw.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What other questions do y'all have? Because I cannot hold y'all this long now. It is Saturday. Y'all got things to do.
Nope, nothing to
No.
do.
She's like, no, I
I
don't.
have nothing to do.
Okay, well, all right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to later on this, let's say by tomorrow, because I'll probably do it this evening, but I like to under promise and over deliver. There you go. So I will send out a link to the recording of this training, and as well, it will also have a link for an evaluation. And so if you could fill that out for me, folks, because that's what really helps me to know what I can do better for this class and for the next group that comes through, and also for what if there's anything additional, just like I talked to you about this the class that I'm going to have. I have the mastermind. It's going to be a mastermind because we're all going to kind of be sharing information together. I'll be leading and coordinating, but so those are the types of things that I need to know if you want to, if that's something that's helpful, if it's something that you think you want to invest in, you let me know. And I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else. I've been talking for like 3 hours straight.
Our laminated cards.
I'm writing this down. The laminated cards. Oh man, I should make that like a thing. Laminated
Yeah,
cards.
definitely.
Just let me know. I will cash app you the
Yep.
money.
Yes,
I have no problem. Because you already know what we're going to need, basically, you know, but especially the Ron people, but you know what we're going to need. So if you do that, you know, if you have time, if you don't, that's fine. But if you do, I will cash app you.
Yeah. Zillow, somebody to
Maybe I'll make that part of the package for the mastermind group, that if you sign up for the mastermind, you get some laminated cards or something. We'll see. All right. Well, good. Sounds wonderful. Ladies, I think we all have ladies left now. So ladies, thank you so much for spending the time with me. And
this has been great. This has been so, I love the intimate setting and the brightness and the fun. This is just perfect. So.
And I think I'm going to make me a notary face mask.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
So you know, depending on by the time the next time we meet, you know, if depending on where I am with that and how I think it might be successful, I might try to market y'all to see.
That's good.
That's a good idea.
You going with that? That's exactly right now. That's
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
This is a face mask I did for myself.
Oh, that's lovely. That's blinged out.
Yeah, it's blinged out, but this one would probably be, it would be written notary or something.
Oh, that's perfect. That's good.
And you can sell those too to us.
That's right. Come on, Ed.
Yeah, there you go.
We are all entrepreneurs. We are all trying to make it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Oh, yay. And yeah, and on that evaluation, I'll also be taking, like, if you have a testimonial, if you really want, if you any comments, that'd be great, because I'd be, you know, it'd be good to know. So for any subsequent groups, if they, you know, kind of what you found to be particularly helpful, if it was, you know, great and you liked it, and that's fine. Now, if you didn't like it, don't say that, but you can't. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right, folks.
I would like to connect with whoever was in my area. I think someone was in Port Charles.
Oh, Ime, she was here. She was in Florida. She had to leave.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay, I missed it.
So here's what I can do for you, Tamisha. I will do an introduction. I'll kind of do a through a BCC just in case, I
Mhm.
don't know who wants to be connected
Right. Who
with
wants
whom.
to be connected? Exactly.
Right. So I will do that. And if she wants to reveal what her email address is, and then you all can exchange that information. How's that?
Okay. Thank you very much. Everybody have a
All
great
right.
day.
You
All right.
too.
Tanisha,
You
thank
too.
you.
Bye
Take
bye,
care,
guys.
Bye
everybody.
bye.
Till
Bye-bye.
next time. Bye bye.
Bye.